Today is May 1st, 2019, Wednesday in the second week of Easter, but today we also celebrate St. Joseph the Worker. Today's schedule is going to prove to be a pretty long day. We're going to be on the road quite a bit, heading up to Nazareth, where we're going to visit the Annunciation church, and then off to Mount Tabor, where they had the transfiguration. It'll be on Mount Tabor where we're going to have Holy Mass, and I have the Holy Mass today. Previously on other pilgrimages, they would post the schedule once a day. I like the fact that they give you the little card each day, which allows you to have it in your room. You don't have to write anything down, take any pictures. Bam, there's your schedule. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to head down now to the lobby and wait for everybody to get on the bus. Apparently with a group this size, 206 is handling this a little bit differently. Rather than moving around the country and staying in different hotels, we're going to operate out of the same hotel every day.
Good morning, Father. How are you doing?
Good. How's the red bus been?
Red bus, I'm on the black bus.
Okay, some of us get the colors right.
Father Peter,
how are you?
Day 4, I'm ready.
All the land that you see in front of you is called the Holy Land for one simple reason, that the most important events that happened in the Old Testament and in the New Testament happened in this land. And it reaches its deepest point at the area of En-Gedi at the Dead Sea over here, where the elevation, it drops down to 420 meters below sea level.
Fender bender accident, they will be in our prayers later on.
So today we're spending a lot of time on the road, and that's why we're making a little pit stop here. So if anybody needs to use the restrooms or wants to pick up a cup of coffee, here's the place they can do it. And we're doing a lot of day trips. One of the things that it does, though, is it kind of changes the order. We're not actually following the biblical places chronologically. We're kind of bouncing around. So like today we're hitting Nazareth after yesterday being in Gethsemane, but then we went to the Church of the Visitation. So it's kind of a little bit of a mix, but it's still interesting.
I'm very honored to be invited on this pilgrimage by Mrs. Milanka, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Hello everyone, God bless from the Holy Land. We're on our way to Nazareth. Father Peter is going to have the Mass today at Mount Tabor, the Transfiguration, so it's going to be a phenomenal day. God bless you. At some point I do want to meet each one of you. I'm making a point to actually meet every person on the pilgrimage. I've got a lot of books on the Rosary. This is a nice little one. I learned how to write a small book. The other one of them was 400 pages. People are like, Father, write a small book, please.
Okay, so we've made our way here to the little town of Nazareth, which isn't so little anymore.
Yes. So here in Nazareth, tradition says that when St. Joseph and Our Lady were engaged, that Our Lady was living in her own place, and that's where the angel came to her. And that kind of explains why St. Joseph was not with her when the angel came, because he was living on his own in what tradition says was his own house, and it was also his workshop. So on this day, the memorial of St. Joseph the Worker, we're going to go and see both of these holy locations, the Basilica of the Annunciation and St. Joseph's workshop.
Over here we have two gates. So up here you can see Adam and Eve are eating from the forbidden tree. You can see the serpent over here. The great flood of Noah. You can see the rainbow over here.
Basilica of the Annunciation. It's incredible, especially the paintings and the different portraits of Mary from Mexico and Japan and America. Very beautiful.
This church behind me here was built over the house of the Blessed Mother. It's called the Church of the Annunciation. This is where the angel appeared to her and declared to her that the Word would become flesh. The Word became flesh within her on his announcement.
Turned into a synagogue on a Sabbath, and this is when the scroll of Isaiah was handed to Christ.
But behind me here is the synagogue that was here in Nazareth, where Jesus did himself stand up.
And he started reading, "The Spirit of the Lord is above me, for he had anointed me to bring the good news to the poor." 15 minutes and please come back here because we'd like to...
So today we are celebrating St. Joseph the Worker, and there's this beautiful statue right here of St. Joseph. And everybody comes to venerate it. As you can see, his knees have been completely just wiped away. Couldn't have more of a blessing today than to be able to enter the Church of St. Joseph the Worker on the Feast of St. Joseph the Worker.
This is wonderful. We're in St. Joseph's house on St. Joseph's Day, the 1st of May. Here is where he worked, here is where the Holy Family lived, and here is where he died and went to heaven. This is just an amazing blessing to be here today.
Before you come to the Holy Land, when you read the Bible, it's in black and white. But once you visit the Holy Land, it's like reading the Bible in living color.
So here we are today. We're in Nazareth. I mean, the place where Jesus grew up. We just had the privilege of being by Mary's house. Then we went over here where Joseph's house was. Day filled with blessings. But know this, all of your prayers, all of your intentions, I have been including in each of these holy places.
Okay. Thank you.
To all the OLPH ladies at Blessed Sacrament, here's Our Lady from the Philippines.
9, 10, and 20.
Hallmarks of being a pilgrim is being able to visit holy places. But I think even more than that, the intangible for me are the graces that are received, the seeds that are planted in our hearts. When you think about it, I mean, there's a lot of people who may not ever be able to do a pilgrimage, but there are the same graces in every church around the world, the same possibility of growing in holiness. But during the Holy Year and during the Year of Mercy, they designated station churches for people to go to. That's a pilgrimage without even leaving your own neighborhood.
Hello, Father.
What do you got?
Dates and some chocolate.
I'm seeing all this stuff by Giuseppe on Facebook.
Me? I'm seeing all your stuff on Facebook. I'm trying to keep up.
How's it going so far, Judy?
It's absolutely fantastic. This is my first trip to the Holy Land, so I'm really enjoying it.
All right, so we finished having a nice lunch. We're now on the road making our way to Mount Tabor, where we're going to have Holy Mass. We're going to catch our rosary along the way here. Save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls to heaven, especially those who are most in need of thy mercy. To get up to Mount Tabor, one of the things that you have to do is to wait for these little shuttle buses because the road is a hairpin after hairpin. It's a lot of fun though. Now the talk of the rest of the afternoon is going to be the bus rides up and down this mountain. And then to kick it off, we had a little traffic jam halfway up.
And this is when there was Peter, James, and John. And this is when Jesus was dazzling white. And they heard, "He is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Established them in this state of Israel. And that's why some of the Orthodox Jews...
We're standing right outside now the Church of the Transfiguration, where we're going to have Holy Mass in a little while. This is the spot right here where Jesus was transfigured before Peter, James, and John. Is the Church of the Transfiguration. We're going to be having Holy Mass on the high altar in here. Well, actually, it's the low altar. It's below the high altar. And it's going to be a lovely experience to be able to pray here in this place where Jesus demonstrates his power and his divinity. So on either side of the entrance here, going into the major basilica here, are two smaller chapels, one that was dedicated, of course, to Moses and one dedicated to Elijah. All right, we were able to negotiate with them, and they're going to let us start our Mass a little bit early, which is grand because that means that we'll be getting back to our hotel a little bit earlier. Okay, when you say Mass in a place like Mount Tabor, the Transfiguration, they give you Transfiguration vestments. I mean, I can't say it enough times. There's nothing that really energizes me more than Holy Mass. I did keep you in my prayers. We just said Mass right here in the place of the Transfiguration. Unbelievable. Hi, everybody. Now, these are the kind of roads that teach people how to pray. My cousin in the old country is a bus driver, and he likes to tell me the story every time I'm there that a priest was on a bus and the bus driver had been drinking, so he was driving crazy down the mountain like this. Well, halfway down the mountain, the bus goes off. He says they get to the pearly gates, the bus driver's there. St. Peter says, come, bus driver, oh, we've been waiting for you. Well, the priest is next. He says, well, if he got in, I'm a slam dunk. St. Peter looks at him and says, I don't know, Father. I don't know. He says, what? You let that crazy bus driver in. He's been drinking. He killed all those people. He says, yeah, but every time he drove his bus, people prayed. Every time you preached, they slept.